But so here's another question for you, Naomi. So we're looking for soft skills, right? And that's important. But we can't forget, and we have to acknowledge that technical skills are very important as well. Now, some people talk about like a percentage, like when they're evaluating candidates, they might say like, well, I think it's 60% culture, right? 60% soft skills and 40% tech skills. I've heard a lot of people advocate that. What would you say? What's your percentage?
The correct answer is always, it depends, right? It just always depends. And I'm sure well, when I hire for entry level people, for example, soft skills are overwhelmingly the majority in that little pie chart. I would say even 90% to 10%, because I don't
Wow.
expect somebody to have technical skills. I want to hire someone with great potential and someone with great soft skills and people
Hmm.
skills. I want the ability for them to learn quickly, or I want them to have the ability to learn quickly and have critical thinking. These are things that I can't teach, right? The
Right.
technical skills I can teach because there's reams of resources, white papers, protocols, like just things that you can use out there that other people have created. So all you have to do is be like, here they are, go ahead and learn them. Or here, I'm going to spend a few minutes to teach you. Here's some resources to learn more. And don't even be surprised. I'm not even surprised at this point. The people these days, they're so technically savvy. We call them digital natives.
Mm.
They don't need to struggle through like learning how to type and learning how to open a web browser and going to a different, web server, whatever it is. Like people these days they intuitively know how to do that. They're very digitally native. They grew up with this kind of technology. I'm talking about the next generation, really.
Hmm.
But even people in the older generations like us, I know we're kind of a little older, but even people who are career changer, mid careers, they're also comfortable with technology. And that's all I'm saying. You don't need a foundation of like 10 years in IT help desk or databases or network. You can learn all that. What you need is a very high level of comfort of technology. And there are some people who just don't like technology. I'm not saying don't get those people. They're very scared of technology, right? I'm talking about the people who don't mind taking or being the IT help desk for their family. Like they do their patch updates for their computers and for their phones. Like they know how to do basic
Hmm.
kind of security things. And those are the people that I really hire for those entry level folks. But then when we get to more of the senior level, right, I do get very, very crazy about the technical skills. Like you must know
Mm.
what you're doing. I can't hire you and train you and there's always a continuum. My team is made up of very strategic, different levels. So I have, handful of entry level people, a handful of mid level people, and then like a couple of senior people who are now training those younger folks. So it is a balance. It's
Okay,
always
so
been a
it's a
balance.
sliding scale, and you're
Yeah.
looking, you're emphasizing people skills more heavily in people who are earlier in their career, and
Yes.
then you're adjusting that as they show more career progression and are being given positions of greater responsibility. Is that a fair assessment of
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
said?
but I will say, and if you don't have the technical skills, you're probably not going to be a senior level person anyway. So I
Hmm.
do ask more questions about soft skills, even in the interview, because
Okay.
by the time they get to the hiring manager part, they already have proven that they have some technical skills. They've probably gone through a technical interview with a technical person. So I'm less worried about them having technical skills and more worried about them having the
Yeah.
soft skills at the end, right?
Jason, I think this is an incredible luxury in some ways, us in the private sector, right, where we can focus on soft skills. I have a background being in the military, so do you, and I got to tell you, I've had people assigned to my team who I would never have hired.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest struggles, I think, especially in the world that I came from, working for the government in the defense sector, is that I didn't get to hire my own team for the most part, right? Anybody who was wearing a military uniform, I got assigned them because somebody back in Millington, Tennessee decided that person was going to be sent to my area of the world. Um, Now, I got to have some talks and hiring when I was hiring government civilians or working with the contract companies on who they were hiring. But for the military side, they just showed up in uniform and that's who you got. And you had to kind of work with what you got. And some people were great with soft skills and horrible with technical skills. Some had great technical skills, horrible with soft skills. And it was really a leadership challenge to kind of work with those people and figure out who are going to be people that have the soft skills to work with the customers and who are the people that need to be locked in the basement dealing with the servers and not talking to another human being. And I think a lot of people have this vision over the last 20, 30 years. If you think back in the 1980s and 90s, the hackers and the system administrators were these nerdy folks sitting in the basement, nobody talked to them. And so everybody thought, computers, nobody needs soft skills, it's not important. But as we've been discussing, it really is an important thing because so much of what we do now is talking with customers. You're not normally just dealing with a
Mhm.
server or dealing with software, you're dealing with people. And so those soft skills do become important.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Yeah. So these days in your hiring, right, you get to put as much emphasis on that as you want, right, for Dion
Definitely.
training for your organization. But I know you've got some people on your team who are in different parts of the world.
Yes.
So you talk about the difficulty of screening for people skills, right? So you've got to do it all over Zoom these
Yep.
days, right? Is that working for you?
Yeah, I mean, right now our team is about 12 people. We just hired number 13 who starts next week. And so we are a relatively small team, but even with our small 12, 13 people, we cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 countries with 6 people, with the 12 or the 13 people we have. A lot of those people I've never gotten to meet in real life, except for over Zoom and over Google Meets and things like that, because I had planned a trip to go meet some of my folks. I have a large percentage of my folks in the Philippines, and COVID happened, so I had to cancel that trip. I have a large percentage of my folks here in Puerto Rico. I've met with all of them personally. We've done interviews in person with those folks because they are local and I can do that. And Puerto Rico is not that big. I can drive across the island in 2 to 3 hours and meet with anybody here. But yeah, it is one of those challenges, and I think soft skills are really hard to determine over a Zoom interview. It's a lot easier to fake it, and you will start seeing over time how people become a different person. We had one person on our team who, during the interview, was very shy, very reserved, had really good technical skills. We knew that she was good from a customer service perspective over email and things like that, but she was very, very shy. After about 3 or 4 months of working with us, she kind of I guess, got comfortable and realized, oh, I'm not getting fired or anything, and kind of let herself out of her shell. And she's like our company joker now. But it's different how people start acting over time. Like you said, you can fake it for so long, but you're not gonna be able to fake it for 3, 4, 5 months. So over time,
Right.
you are going to see the real person come out.
Yeah.